Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Kevin and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make quick cash. No, this is not clickbait. No, this isn't me just gassing it up. This is an actual way that you can make a lot of money. Of course, there's a lot of risk and there's a big caveat to this. So in the same way that you can make a lot of money, you can also lose a lot of money. But the upside is greater than the downside. So if you're someone who's afraid of losing $10, $100, then this video is not for you. If you're someone who has never been in the stock market, then this video is not for you. If you're someone who has a low risk tolerance, you probably shouldn't be watching this video and you should just exit out because I'll be doing you a big favor. Okay, so if you're still here, then you probably want to see like, okay, what's going on? Like, what's the way to make a lot of money, Kevin? What's the cheat code to life? And it's crazy because for the first time in my life, I found a way to actually make a lot of money fast. Of course, as with anything, there's no such thing as free money. And the reason why I say this is because this isn't free money. It may seem like you're not doing anything and you're just making money out of thin air, but you're actually taking on a lot of risk. And for you taking that risk, you're being rewarded with money. So today we're gonna go over a big picture of what an option is, how it gains its value, and how it loses its value. This is a core principle, and this is something that you should really understand so that when you lose money, you're not freaking out. Because at the end of the day, in the stock market, you never lose or win until you sell your position. Okay, in order to explain this concept, I'm gonna use the example of a house. I saw this example in another video, which I will leave a link to down below. They'll probably do a lot better job of explaining this concept. And the reason why I'm putting it down there, just in case you don't understand me, this concept took me like a week or two to actually fully understand and how it translates into the stock market. So bear with me if it's kind of confusing. Just get through the video and just get through it and then leave your thoughts to the end, see what you get out of it. And then hopefully you do understand. And if you don't, then check out the link in the bio. And remember to hit the like, hit the subscribe button to support me and support the channel. But with that being said, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so to better explain this concept, I'm gonna use an example of real estate and I'm gonna have three different characters, okay? So the first character's name is Katie, the second one is myself, Kevin, and then the third one is Tom. Bear with me, I just made up these names. So yeah, okay, so Katie is a homeowner who has a house that's worth $100,000 and she's looking to sell her house for $100,000 in cash. Me, myself, Kevin, I'm a home buyer and I'm looking to buy Katie's house because I really like it. But the problem is that I only have $10,000. And so I was trying to think of a way as to how can I get Katie to agree to hold that house for $100,000 just in case the real estate market goes up or down within the next 2 months so that I can get the $90,000 to buy her house. So I go to her house and I knock on her door and I tell her, hey Katie, I really want to buy your house, but I don't have the $100,000 up front. Is there any way we can create a contract or an agreement that says I pay you $5,000 and you hold this $100,000 price on this piece of real estate no matter what the market does for the next 2 months? So right away, I know that was a lot to take in, but just bear with me, okay? So what did we agree on? So I told Katie that I will give her $5,000 in exchange for an agreement for her to hold the price of the house at $100,000 for 2 months. Meaning that if she agrees to this agreement, I have 2 months to buy this house for $100,000, no matter what, no matter if the house goes up in value or if the house goes down in value, okay? So if Katie agrees to this contract or this agreement, then I have the ability to buy this house for $100,000 within 2 months from today, no matter what happens. But if I don't buy the house, then I lose my $5,000 and I walk away, okay? So that's what an option contract is. It's an agreement to buy something within a time period for a certain price, okay? So let's just keep that in mind. Now, let's continue on with the scenario. So Katie agrees to the $5,000 contract and I walk away and I start thinking about how am I gonna make these $90,000, right? So a month passes by. Remember, the contract is 2 months. So then Tom, the homeowner right next to Katie, starts to renovate his house. And he renovates his house and he renovates the whole outside of it. He sells his house for $500,000, let's just say, okay? So now Katie goes and looks on Zillow and sees that her house is now valued at $250,000 because her neighbor Tom just sold his house for $500,000, right? But Katie cannot sell her house to someone else because she has a contract with me for 2 months to sell me the house for $100,000. But what happens here is that I have that contract, right? And because the contract has an agreement to buy the house at $100,000, but the house is not worth $250,000, then that means that that contract has gone up in value. And here's why it's gone up in value, okay? So let's just say another third person like Brandon. So Brandon is also looking for a house, right? And he sees Katie's house on Zillow for $250,000, and he's really interested in this house. But Katie can't sell it to Brandon because she has a contract with me. So I have the contract. So that means that with my $5,000, I'm able to leverage Katie's $100,000 house for 2 months. So that means that I go to Brandon and I show him, hey, I tell Brandon, hey Brandon, I have this contract with Katie to buy her house at $100,000. Brandon was initially going to spend $250,000 on Katie's house. I have the ability to sell my contract to Brandon for a premium. Let's just say I bought the contract for $5,000. Let's just say I asked Brandon for $25,000 for the contract. Would it make sense for Brandon to spend $25,000 on a contract to buy Katie's house for $100,000 now that her house is worth $250,000? Yes, it would make sense, right? Because he would pay $125,000 in total and have a house that's worth $250,000. If Brandon were to buy my contract for $25,000, then that means that Brandon could also buy the house for $100,000. So in total, he would spend $125,000. But the house is not worth $250,000. So essentially, he just made $125,000. And I made $20,000 from selling him that contract. So with $5,000, I was able to leverage a $100,000 property. But the only reason why the value of that contract, that $5,000 contract that I had, went up in value is because Katie's house went up in value to $250,000. And because I had that contract, she couldn't sell it to anyone else. So I had the power to sell my contract to someone else. And the reason why I could increase the price on that contract is because Brandon was going to pay $250,000. I could have sold that contract for $100,000 and Brandon would still make $50,000 on that purchase. So do you guys see how that contract was leveraged and how that contract increased in value? That's what a call option is. A call means that you think that the stock price is going to go up. Now let me tell you the other scenario where the contract loses its value and you lose money. This is the nasty part. So let's just say that I have this $5,000 contract with Katie to buy the $100,000 house in 2 months. So this time, instead of her neighbor renovating the house, let's just say that her neighbor Tom, his house burns down. And because his house burns down, the value of Katie's property goes down to $50,000. Now I have that contract to buy it for $100,000, but why would I spend $100,000 in buying Katie's property when I could just buy it for $50,000 off the market, right? So basically what I could do now is either take the loss on the $5,000 and then just go straight into Zillow and buy it for $50,000 and essentially just pay $55,000 and not really lose that much money besides the $5,000. Or So that's one thing. I can do that. That would be the smart choice. That would be the smart thing to do, to just take the loss on the $5,000 and just buy it off of Zillow for, $50,000, right? Because I can no longer go to Brandon and sell him this $5,000 contract, because why would he spend $100,000 on a house that he can buy for $50,000 on Zillow? It doesn't make sense, right? So that's why contracts lose their value. And this is why people lose money in the stock market. The reason why the contract lost its value is because the property went down in value. Because the property went down to $50,000, it would no longer make any sense for me to exercise that contract of spending $100,000 on her house, because it would just make more sense for me to go and buy the house on Zillow for $50,000. So that's just what a call option is. And that's how call options gain and lose their value. If you have a call option on a stock, that means that you think the stock is going to go up. And if it goes up in your favor, you will make money. Of course, there's also a lot of other variables, but this is the big concept. This is the big picture, the main idea. In the next video, I will show you guys how to actually buy an option call and how to make money on Robinhood. Like I will actually show you in the app how to make money through that. Okay, so I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.